Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Gaming News, where we discuss all things within the gaming industry. And as per the last video, I said that I was going to separate it into two parts because I talked extensively about the Activision diversity tool that they reportedly released recently. So, from here, because that took up a very long time, I will continue with the last two topics, which are Twitch and which is CD Projekt Red. And both of these are relatively quick, but I still felt they were important enough to cover. So the first one, of course, is Twitch. And Twitch is actually doing something really good. Now, fundamentally, Twitch has come under fire for doing a lot of things that seem to be anti-creator. We're still questioning what is going to happen with the new partnership program and the tiers and the getting rid of the exclusivity part of the contract. We do not know any details about that at this time, but we are going to keep our eye out. However, in this case, what they have done is something fantastic, in my opinion. As reported on the 18th, Twitch effectively bans NFTs from stream extensions in May 17th guideline update. Haha, cute. NFT, not for Twitch. I like it. Well done. Well played. So, in an effort to curb the presence of NFT-related links stemming from Twitch streamer extensions, Twitch has updated its extension guidelines on May 17th to negate any off-site links or referral codes to NFT-type websites. Located under the Content Policy section of Twitch's extensions, guidelines, and policies, the new entry 4.11 states extensions may not display, implement, include, or interact with any non fungible token (NFT). Examples: extensions may not include offsite links or referral codes to NFT sites and may not facilitate the creation, listing, trading, or redemption of NFTs. Now, this was first brought to my attention by, of course, Zach Bussey's tweet. Obviously, noticing the change and perhaps hearing from sources, but a lot of people on Twitch are incredibly excited about this. One could speculate Twitch doesn't want to act as a medium for NFT related sites for several reasons. One big factor is NFTs are incredibly polarizing, risky, and encourage gambling like behavior in many eyes. By banning streamer extensions from featuring NFT links, Twitch is essentially doing its part to dissociate itself with the digital asset technology. And this is important because there are rules within the terms of service that bar you from gambling, that do not allow loot boxes. Again, have been a very hot button topic. And a lot of game developers were told you must remove loot boxes from your video games because you're selling primarily to a younger audience that may or may not be aware of the financial ramifications of getting involved in any kind of gambling scheme, NFT related situation because of how they're designed. That's why many TV stations are only allowed to advertise certain things based on the norms that are out there. During a football game or something like that, you don't tend to see women's products being advertised because primarily it is a male dominated sport, and therefore you should only be selling male appropriate products, right? That doesn't mean I agree with this. I'm just simply saying that when it comes to advertising products, there are products that will and won't be advertised depending on the medium. And in this case, because you're trying to be a more friendly site for the most part, then you have to make sure that your advertising is in alignment with that, because advertisers and sponsors will not engage if for some reason these are products that are not good for the market and not good for the age range either. Now, there is a wide variety of people using Twitch, and therefore you could argue whether or not there should be adult products being advertised on the site or not. But again, that opens up the door to allow your streamers to choose what types of ads are allowed on their page. That would be a great way to start. If you're an 18 plus streamer, then you know that advertisements could theoretically contain any kind of profanity or adult-rated jokes or adult products. So you could theoretically have products that are aimed at a wide variety of people. If you are a PG streamer, then I feel like that list should definitely shrink. And I think that this would be a good way for Twitch to realize and work with ad revenue being the biggest generator of profit for them, and allowing the streamers to choose what types of things, what types of content and advertisements they want on their channel. And it would solve a lot of things. So, by blocking NFTs, not only do they cover their own ass legally, but it also makes the industry much happier that a lot of us are not really interested in NFTs because of the volatility of it, because of how brutal it can be to the audience. So, I am all for this. I hope that they enforce this in some capacity and make sure that these extensions cannot be used, and that they appropriately take out people who are maybe using these or trying to use these extensions by issuing bans and whatnot. But I feel like this is a step in the right direction. But then once again, something happens where it makes Twitch look really bad. And what I'm talking about here is the tragedy that happened recently, which is New York Attorney General investigating Twitch and Discord over a Buffalo attack. And unfortunately, it actually extends further than just Twitch and Discord. From my understanding, there are other platforms that are also being investigated because of this attack, and it is senseless and tragic, and I absolutely hate it. If you watched the earlier video on gaming news where I covered extensively the diversity tool for Activision, then you will see and understand why maybe what I was talking about is not necessarily classified as winning, right? So let's start this article with New York Attorney General Letitia James announced Wednesday that her office will investigate several social media companies and online platforms in connection with the deadly attack in Buffalo over the weekend. Among these platforms are two frequently tied to gaming, Twitch and Discord, but the investigation will also target 4chan and 8chan, which unfortunately those two sites have brought forward a number of really awful things over the years. We're not just talking currently. 4chan has been the result of some pretty awful things in the past, and I am strangely not surprised that once again it's being brought up here. Now, how much of their role they play in this attack, I do not know. That is what the investigation is for. But the important thing here is this attack that the 18-year-old stated directly was racially motivated. Read that again. His attack was racially motivated. He's a white man who went into an area because of the amount of colored persons that live there, and he knew he could do the most damage by targeting them, and it was also premeditated. Gendron also went live on Twitch to stream the attack, but the live stream and his channel were not taken down until after the attack. This is bad. This looks really bad for Twitch. This is why I felt like the purpose of global mods should have been more focused on making sure that these kinds of things were taken down. My understanding was that global mods were an extension of Twitch staff, that they would be looking out for these types of situations where streams need to be forcibly taken down. Unfortunately, Twitch does not really operate that way, where most of the time they do not step into the situations of its creators, and they leave the onus on the creator to stop and to prevent situations like this from happening. And unfortunately, your editors and your moderators cannot shut down a stream, and even if this man had moderators or editors for his stream, they most likely would have kept it up. You're assuming that the moderators are an extension of the streamer and that they might have just left it even if they were given the opportunity to do that. I don't believe that anything would have changed, and I'm glad that it was eventually taken down, but not after the damage was already done, and unfortunately, lives were lost. A lot of people were hurt. It was a really bad situation. And I really feel awful for these people who were caught in a senseless attack because of some 18-year-old that thought the white race was better. Get out of here with your bullshit. Anyways. It's unclear what James means when she calls the platforms themselves dangerous, referring to Twitch and Discord. It's similarly unclear what exactly this investigation might entail. While the press release states that it seeks to investigate platforms that the shooter used to plan, promote, and stream the attack, there are no explicit details about the upcoming investigation or indications that it will relate to their moderation or reporting policies. There is also no indication about whether the investigations will focus on prevention of future attacks or just an analysis of the platforms themselves. Now, there are some good things here that I will get to. Twitch did release a statement, and I do believe that where warranted, if someone is doing anything blatantly illegal, that Twitch will turn over any documentation, any evidence that they have to the requisite police departments that would need it in order to prosecute. Especially since this guy who's 18 means he can be tried as an adult in a number of places, and I'm assuming because of the location, it falls under US law, meaning that your state is definitely going to take it out on you. And furthermore, Twitch is based in California. When you sign contracts, I don't know if he was an affiliate or not, but regardless, he will be facing the full brunt of the law. It's not just Twitch and Discord and other platforms that are going to have to deal with this, but it's also the individual. Now, back in 2020, this 18-year-old watched the live streamed mosque shooting in New Zealand from 2019, and that was streamed to Facebook, and then mentioned a 2019 shooting in Halle, Germany, that was also streamed on Twitch. He reportedly wrote about his plan of attack on a private Discord channel, which he later invited people to join to read his plan. In the months prior, the man had reportedly been involved in other Discord channels or groups, including one where he posted a racist manifesto. This is clearly a person that has a history of awful behavior, and it means that he was more likely to have committed a crime. And unfortunately, that would have been during a time where he was not quite an adult, which may also be taken into consideration if they take him to court and put him in jail for killing people. That is clearly premeditated. There is a history of being attracted and to these events and being desensitized by these events, and he believes that this is okay. And it's not okay. It's not okay no matter what platform you use. It's not okay no matter what in any concept. This kid is going to go to jail. You have evidence to show, plenty of evidence to show that this was done deliberately. You bragged about it. You're going to jail, kid, and I don't feel bad for you. You should suffer because of what you did to those people. They will never get their friends and family back because of your actions. Now, Twitch did put out a statement about the attack, and many of us are just so upset about this entire situation, and that racism is still prevalent, that white supremacy is still a big deal, that this even happened, and that people are crazy enough to live stream and to have proof that they're okay with their own actions. And they identified and removed the stream less than 2 minutes after the violence began and permanently banned the user from our service. We are taking all possible action to stop the footage and related content from spreading on Twitch, including monitoring and removing accounts or content rebroadcasting footage of the incident. They are working closely with the FBI and Homeland Security and the NYPD Cyber Intelligence Unit, making sure that this guy gets prosecuted and that this doesn't continue to happen. And unfortunately, Discord, unless you are deliberately bringing in a bot to do logging of information to submit to the authorities if need be, as far as I know, they don't necessarily keep logs. I am not 100% on that, and don't quote me. But it is their responsibility to make sure that these situations don't happen, and to what extent that they're able to do that, they will, because once again, it will cost Twitch a lot more if they don't have policies in place to protect themselves and to protect other people. Now, that's not to say that they're doing the greatest of jobs, as there's still a lot of hate raids continuing to permeate through Twitch, and people are still getting hit with awful remarks from random people who continually create new accounts or doing other heinous things. But there's one more thing with Twitch I wanted to just very briefly mention from earlier today, which is this tweet by Zach Bussey. It looks like Twitch is going to announce the removal of the rerun feature, and unsure when that will happen exactly. Now, here's the thing. In many cases, the rerun feature isn't going to get as many people into the stream watching the content as the live stream itself. However, there are cases where it is incredibly valuable. I watch Critical Role every single Thursday, and they rerun the broadcast 2 or 3 times afterwards so that people can still catch it if they're not subscribed, and if they don't want to wait till Monday when the video goes live. Rather, the uploaded video of the content going live on YouTube. That is often their schedule. And to take away the rerun feature in its entirety will subsequently drop numbers for channels like Critical Role and other prominent places that do use reruns to keep subscribers and such when you're on vacation and going to events and whatnot. So I'm not sure how I feel about them removing the rerun feature. I personally haven't used it because I don't feel like any of my content really needs to be shown again. But that doesn't mean that other people don't find value in it. And so I'm curious to see what happens with this and if Twitch is actually going to make this change or not. But with those particular things having to do with Twitch, I would love to know what you're thinking about the attack. If you believe that there will be a way to protect people and to stop this from happening. I mean, there was a trail of evidence to show that he is most likely to become violent. But I don't know. I am passing the question off to you. And I'd love to know what your thoughts are on the rerun feature and if that gets removed. Is that a big deal to you or not? I'm curious to see where you sit. Then finally, I'm going to talk about CD Projekt Red. Now, I have one article for this, and it may be terrible for some of you who maybe are fans of the Witcher series, but The Witcher 3's next gen version is now planned for quarter 4 of this year. Planned release time is later in 2022, which was announced on Thursday. And previously, they were targeting for this quarter, for the second quarter of the year, for the free update. But it pushed the release in April without providing a new date. And alongside that April announcement, CD Projekt Red said it would be bringing development of the update in-house, meaning it would be taking the reins from Saber Interactive. So I don't know what the situation is between Saber and CD Projekt Red, but I am curious to see if it's because they're maybe not fulfilling their end of the agreement or if CD Projekt Red is just more confident in their team now, whether or not they're going to go forward with this. They have not said too much about what can be expected from The Witcher 3's next gen version, though we do know there will be some free armor inspired by the Netflix series, so if you're a fan of that, look for that DLC content. And the studio insists that the update isn't in development hell despite the delays. Now, as we know, the last couple of years have been particularly trying for CD Projekt Red as it had a tumultuous launch with Cyberpunk 2077, and then they were subsequently sued and had to go through a lot of that, and then Sony pulling the game off of their store and people issuing refunds. CD Projekt Red has gone through hell, so it's not surprising that even after all of the updates that we've received for Cyberpunk 2077, to put it in an infinitely better state than it was at launch. So if it's something that's interesting to you, please definitely consider purchasing it. But otherwise, The Witcher 3 sort of took a bit of a sideline as they obviously had to deal with all of this other stuff. And yes, there are different teams between the two games, but that doesn't mean that production of these things weren't necessarily hindered by the real world effects of the pandemic and the lawsuits and all of the other things to go with it. So, if you're looking for that next gen version, you'll have to wait till around Christmas time or around November, December time because it is going to be in the last quarter of the year, and hopefully it doesn't get delayed from that. So, with all of that said, thank you so much for being here and listening to the double header of content, but I felt like everything really needed to be said, particularly on the Activision Blizzard side. And I really should have made that its own video in hindsight, but that's neither here nor there. I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on this video's particular topics of Twitch and of The Witcher 3 and where you stand with both of these things and what you're thinking about. So let me know on Patreon, on Twitter, on Twitch, or in Discord. And with that, you guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.